Are you thinking about moving to Redwood City, California? Is it expensive? Well, hold that thought. Join me as we dive into the living expenses in this beautiful city. So welcome, let's take a deep dive into those living expenses in Redwood City, California. And let's find out, is it really expensive? Well, I mean, expensive is all relative in the end, right? But first of all, let's take a look at real estate costs. An average apartment in Redwood City is going to cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 depending on what you're looking for. You can find a pretty normal apartment for about $2,000 a month, or you can find something a little bit more luxurious, like around $4,000 a month in downtown for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. Single-family homes, depending on the neighborhood, can range. You're looking at about $3,500 all the way up to about $6,000 or $7,000 depending on the type of house you're looking at. You can find a $3,500 to $4,500 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in the Friendly Acres area, the Alphabet Streets, the Centennial area, Staumbaugh-Heller, that kind of thing. When you get into Mount Carmel, Roosevelt area, you're looking at about $4,500 minimum to about $6,000 or so depending on the type of home that you want. And that's for a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So you're thinking about buying, the average price in Redwood City is about $1.5 to $1.6 million, depending on the neighborhood again. It's very hard to find stuff under $1 million. You can, but it's rare. And they're not necessarily in the best locations, or they're super small. Let's take a look at the average 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. You can find some of those in the Friendly Acres neighborhood for about 1.3 to 1.5, 1.6 million. You can look in the Centennial area, which is the Alphabet Streets, for roughly around the same price. You're looking at about 1.3 to 1.5. When you start getting into kind of the west side of El Camino, kind of Mount Carmel, Roosevelt area, you're looking closer to about 1.5 to 1.6 or 7 for that same house. Edgewood Park is a lot more expensive. The homes are very unique there. You're looking at about 1.6 or more depending on the type of home. And you can find houses that are like brand new, 2,400 square foot, that kind of thing for about 2 to 3 million in those neighborhoods and in Emerald Hills. Emerald Hills is a little bit different. You can find a wide variety of different homes. There's large homes with, that are kind of large estates, large plots of lands up there in the hills, or you can find kind of those more small, cute cabiny types of homes. But again, very hard to find anything under $1 million for those very small properties. You're looking right at that kind of 1 million to even just a little bit higher than that entry point level. I might be able to find something for around 9, but usually that'll be pretty tiny. And that goes all the way up to $2 or $3 million for some of those bigger properties. So compared to the national average, Redwood City is about 91% higher. However, it's still a little bit cheaper than the surrounding neighborhoods. The Bay Area in general is going to be pretty expensive and much higher than the national average. But if you compare Redwood City to some of the surrounding neighborhoods, it's actually a little bit more affordable. So in general, even essential commodities cost about 31% more than the national average. And housing expenses alone are about 242% higher. Of course, it's the Bay Area. On average, healthcare costs about 31% higher, and the average doctor visit costs about $163. The median household income for an average one person in Redwood City is about $135,000, give or take, ranges from about $125 all the way up to about $150. And to live comfortably, remember the 28% rule. Your housing costs should not exceed 28% of your gross income, although that happens quite a lot here in the Bay Area. Living in the Bay Area in general comes with a higher price tag. Redwood City, though, compared to some of the surrounding cities, is a lot cheaper. You got San Carlos, Palo Alto, Hillsborough, Menlo Park. Generally speaking, you get a little bit less for your money in those neighborhoods. Redwood City, you do get more bang for your buck. If you're looking from San Jose, essentially all the way up the peninsula, it's one of the cheaper markets. The only other place that's cheaper is Daly City, which is in the way of the flight path, which is why that's cheaper. You got East Palo Alto. East Menlo Park, depending on the neighborhood, is fairly comparable to some of the neighborhoods in Redwood City, so you you may or may not count that. And then you have East San Mateo, which again is kind of comparable depending on the specific neighborhood you're looking at. All the other areas and all the other cities are going to be more expensive. If you're looking for property in the area, click on the link below. You can see and look for all the properties in Redwood City under certain price points or in certain neighborhoods. And if you're looking for a home evaluation, click on the link below and you can get a free home evaluation. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights like this. Thanks for watching.